Hi there, welcome to another episode of the Paint Party Livestream. I'm so glad to have you here with me in the studio. It's great to be with you as always. This is every Monday night we do this. It's my Learn to Paint journey. Started just a few years ago teaching myself to paint on YouTube, and I'm so glad to have each of you joining me for the live stream. You can participate in this live stream wherever you're watching us by engaging in the comments. You can type questions or comments as we go through the evening. Over the last several weeks, we've been working on clearing out some of the paintings here in my studio, and so we'll continue that this evening, hopefully getting this one we've been working on wrapped up tonight. That is the hope, and we may move to another one. I'm moving these through as I am preparing and building up to do my first collection of paintings this year. So I'm getting ready to do those, and this is part of the process, just kind of clearing out some of the paintings that are laying around partially finished here in the studio. So I'm so glad to have you. Let's jump right in this evening. I've been actually working for a few minutes on this. Tonight on this painting, this is a scene from Amsterdam, and we are going to continue to just do the detail work. A lot of this is pretty small, precise line work because it is something that I am not particularly experienced or gifted with, but architectural paintings are a little bit difficult for me. You have to get the perspective right, you have to get the lines right, and of course the values right. So that's what we're focused on this evening as we do the detail work, is just cleaning up some of those lines, cleaning up the perspective, and this is almost the micro perspectives. So in each of the buildings, making sure the windows are aligned, making sure some of these other things are as they should be, because one or two things off can throw the whole image off. And so we want to maintain that illusion as we do a painting like this. So that's what we're working on. Hi there, so glad to see you all joining. I see a bunch of people popping in, so we'll switch over to the other camera and then we'll get started this evening. All right, hi Shirley, so glad to have you. Thanks for joining. I always appreciate you popping in for a few minutes. I hope that your week is going well. Hey, Mom and Dad, so glad to have you. I assume Dad's probably still working, but glad to have you join, Mom. All right, let me get this set. Hope everyone had a great week, that life is treating you kindly. We have had beautiful weather here, but the end of the week is going to be a bit dicey, I think. So we will see how that all plays out. Raising this back up, see if I can avoid some of the glare. Oh, I can't wait till I can build out a studio space like I wanted and have overhead lights. Hopefully eliminate some of the glare on the painting. All right. Welcome to those of you joining just now. We're going to start again with this Amsterdam painting here. And tonight we're going to be doing the finishing up, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, the detail work. So that is going to be the goal here, is to do some of this detail work. So we'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. My goal is to refine some of the lines. Again, like I said, you can participate in the live stream wherever you are watching. You can ask questions, make comments. I always enjoy engaging with you, so feel free to chime in. Let me also put my palette here. I already have some paint because I was working on this a little bit, doing some of this work. So let's see. I'll try to bring this back a little bit so you can, sorry about that, so you can see both the reference and what I am working on. So, like I said, we are focused on the perspective, so making sure things are aligned perspective-wise, as well as the lines. We want these lines to be precise, and we want, of course, the values to match, the lights versus the darks. So that said, I want to begin to work on some of these things. And I want to refine them. That is the goal, to refine the perspective and lines on these buildings coming forward in the painting. So I'd started kind of re-establishing some of this back here, fixing up some of this work in the back. I do need to do a little bit of cleaning up, so I'm going to try to do that. Right in here, we need to clean up some of that. So let's see what we can do. This is going to be fairly detailed work. I'm not sure if this is gonna completely work because the value is so bright that right now it's pulling this completely into the front, and so it doesn't look, but we need to start somewhere. So it looks way too bright, but it will dry darker. The goal is to be then to figure out how to do some blending. So let's see if we can Welcome. A few more of you have joined in the last few minutes. We're just clearing out or clearing up some of this detail work, doing some more precision work. On these buildings. The goal is to get this really done this evening because we've been working several weeks on this and really want to get it done. So that's the goal. I've added just a little bit of ultramarine blue to this to take it back a little bit. I don't know if it'll work. I am learning with you all what works and what doesn't. It's so difficult to get this exactly right. It's kind of like the Mont Saint-Michel when we kept working on it. It's getting all of those layers to work correctly, isn't it? All the stone work, but once we do, it's really works well. So that's the key. Once we do, it really works. So we'll keep working on this. Hey there, John. Welcome. Yes, the reflections are really long, and they were in the original. I may put those back in. I painted over this, I think last week or maybe the week before, but you can't really see it. But my original reflections came all the way down here. But then these kind of got lost because they were all the same values. This was bright, this was bright, this was bright, this was bright. And I really want this to stand out. So I took this down, and then these really stand out, which I like because it draws the eye. Those two lines are like beacons that point the eye right there. The perspective of the buildings points the eye back. And that's where, and then the color variant in the sky draws the eye back. And that's where I want people to go in. Visually, I want them to go back there. So that is kind of strategically what's going on. And the intent behind it. But I do want to work on these because I really want to get this kind of locked in place as far as I want to get this painting off my off of my to-do list. I love it and I love working on it, but it's been a while we've been working on this, mostly because of my own lack of skill. So that's partially my fault. We'll put some more shadow in here. All right. Again, this is all about the contrast. Not all about, but often about. This. As we go in here now, the question becomes, how can we All right. I like how this, giving that a little bit of a sharp edge, then gives this that feeling of three-dimensionality, if that works. Is that a word? It feels three-dimensional. So let's see, this is I may have messed up these values, but that's okay. Not okay, but we'll fix it. Because it looks like basically the sunshine is on here, doesn't it? But I want to get the lines correct. Then we can go in and add some of these more gradient details. Again, trying to fix some of these lines so that because they will give us the illusion of, if we do them right, they will give us the illusion of the building. I'm doing this all in gray. It won't all stay gray, but I want to check. It's sometimes hard when a lot of these are similar colors. So I want to check perspective. I want to check all of that as I go, and this allows me to see it easily. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. All right, we're starting to get where we need to be. You see how this is coming together? So we're cleaning up little by little. I have to, when I come back in here, I have to just be much more precise than I was the first time. Hey, Bob G. Thank you. Yes, it is familiar. My goal is to get this completely done this time. Get it off the easel. So I really want to fix these. These ones that are kind of here. Okay, let me see. This one, I think it's just never looked right, and I'm not sure. I think it is in the roof line, part of it. Not sure. It's crazy when your eyes start deceiving you. You're like, what am I actually seeing? I think what I really could benefit from is doing a bunch of studies, architectural study drawings of buildings and landscapes, but in perspective, because it would give me a kind of a natural inclination, intuition about these. If I did 10, 15, 20 drawings, suddenly it would make sense. All right, I think that's a little bit better. I do want to work on some of this. Shape of the lighting. we'll see. If I can get the roof lines all correct all the way back, really, I feel good from here over. I need to clean some of this up, the lights and things, but I feel pretty good perspective wise. Now we need to take, let's go in here and mix a little bit of this. I'm not sure what else, what other color is in here. It's kind of that gray color. Let's see if we can get this line really tight. Again, because these are man-made structures, they have to look, you know, if you do a tree that's a little bit crooked, nobody's going to question it. But if you do a building that's a little bit crooked, even if they can't tell why, it's going to be like, oh, that is off, and I don't know why, but it just isn't right. So that's why we're spending so much time on this. To try to correct some of these errors in perspective. All right, I like this. Maybe we'll do a little more work on it, but I think it's getting there. What do you think? What do you think, y'all? Then, oh, sorry about that. Got a text and it interrupted the flow. All right, this looks wonky because this is wonky. So let's try to fix that. See if we can do that. Okay. Okay, I think that helps. Hola, Ana. Thanks for popping in. It's good to see you. Leaning Tower of Pisa. Maybe I need to, maybe that's the drawing exercise I need. These all feel like, yeah, it feels like we're okay from here over. And if we just keep correcting, our perspective will get, or our, yeah, the perspective will be corrected. I was watching another artist live stream this afternoon as I was working, and he was doing a portrait, master study of a Raphael, and he said that it was 50%, not perspective, what was the word he used? 50% basically the placement, like placement of the features and the things. We were talking about the success of a painting. He said basically it's 50% placement and 50% values. And I think in this case, like this painting, it's definitely 50% values, but it's also 50% perspective. Like, it was shocking to me, and these are the lessons I'm learning as we go, but it was shocking to me how dramatically the painting got, how much better, dramatically better it got when we dropped these roof lines from here to here. Actually, I think I can't see them anymore because I've repainted a couple of layers, but they were way up here, which just looked way off. Dropping them down then gave the whole skyline, it just worked so much better. So all right, we're gonna have to correct some of these. There. We're gonna have to correct some of these windows. So they look correct. Yeah, sometimes, man, just putting in a straight line just really helps, doesn't it? It's crazy. You have one little line off and it throws off the whole thing. This is not quite. I need to just. Okay. I think these windows look much better than they did. And this whole building looks better. Let me step back 5 or 6 feet. Take a look. Because I will often use the image on your screen as a check. Okay, I need to make minor adjustments. What I notice, this building standing alone by itself looks fine or looks okay, but the way the lines are right now, it looks almost like this is, like if you took the top off, it looks like that would be the shadowed side of that building because of what I've done with perspective. What I need to do to make it look right is these need to, here, let me show you. I think this is what needs to be done. These windows need to actually they need to, perspective wise, they need to dip down as they go in. So the angle is going like this, but of the building, but the actual rows of the windows need to go fairly parallel. It's the bane of my existence right now, John. Figuring out, but it's just a matter of experience, which is kind of encouraging because it's just I know it's just that, like, that's all it is. It's just painting them. Painting more and more or drawing more and more of these. Yeah, because what is happening is particularly, and I think it's between this building and this building on my painting, not necessarily the reference, but on my painting, these are, the viewer is almost looking directly on So there needs to be less distortion of the perspective lines right here, and then they start going that direction, if that makes sense. Yes, I probably need to study in an architecture. If I did actual architectural drawings, I'd never have a problem again. But this is really one of the first, outside of Mont Saint Michel, which was just monstrous. This is one of the first architectural type paintings that I have. Oh, I just lost you all. I am so sorry. I didn't. This is the first time that's happened, I think. You still have my audio, but my camera, I did not plug in my phone when I turned the camera around. So it completely died on me because I wasn't paying attention. So we will let that charge up a little bit. Now let me see what I'm going to do. I started my art life with drafting and architecture. Oh, I'm sure. I am sure. I am sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let me, while this is kind of has to get to a certain minimum level of charge, I think, to do. But let's just improvise, okay? If y'all will bear with me. Let's see if we can do this. I don't know if it'll work, but let me try to bring you. Oh, that is just not going to work light-wise. Maybe like that. That might help. You can literally look over my shoulder. I can't zoom this camera in, and you can see my messy. We'll try to hide the rest of my messy attic. And let's bring this, my attic studio. Let's bring this forward a little bit. And then we'll just let you look over my shoulder. You can get from this angle though, you can really get the effect of the painting. It's going to be really dramatic once it's all, the lines are correct. It's really going to be a cool painting. So let's see what we can continue to do. We have about an hour. Yep. So I wanted to get more done. Let's keep working on this. Sadly, it's just step by step. I want to as straight on for you all as possible. Whoops. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay. Now let's see if we can do this a little more. That's right in the glare for you all, isn't it? But that is even worse. Yeah. There, maybe that will help. This one, I'm trying to do a little more of a dark blue tint so that it stands out from the buildings around it and from the roof. I'm going to step back because, again, I'm kind of painting from a crooked angle for me. I'm going to go put that back in there later. I'm going to mix a little bit of brown into this blue to lighten just a tad. Then we'll go in here, repaint this building. We'll give some where's the other? Give this kind of a brown, but still very shadowed sheen, and it will stand out. All right. Let me see if this. Okay, I think I have enough charge to take you back to our normal spot. Let me try. There we go. Yeah, let's try this again. All right. I was just working on this. Then they're all kind of the same. Kind of dark. Whoop. Sorry about that. I may have to buy a new tripod head because it's getting really weak. All right. Why it always does that. With this, I'm just trying to see if I can get somewhat of a decent perspective. on these windows. I'll have to go in and put in some detail work, but I'm trying to basically just draw in Hi, Abby. Thank you so much, dear. Appreciate you for popping in for a few minutes. Little by little, we're getting this, y'all. What is this, a picture of Venice? Actually, it's Amsterdam. It is Amsterdam. But I've been working on this for months, or it's been sitting for months. I had to correct some perspective issues in the skyline. I think I have that pretty much worked out. Now I'm working on correcting all of the perspective issues in the buildings and in the windows. And then eventually I'll go add a little more reflection here. I need to correct this boat and some of this, but we're getting there little by little. My goal is I flipped the value of the sky, and I'm redirecting. I'm taking some of the emphasis off of these buildings and leaving these reflections to really push the eye back into the painting so that people really, it draws them in, but also it really, what I want people when they look at it is to be like, ooh, this looks familiar-ish, but I really want to visit here. That's what I want people to feel. A sense of, it's sort of, I might have seen this image somewhere before, or I might have walked, if I've been to Europe, I might have walked along this waterway, but I really want to go back there and, I want to sit on this patio back here and have a drink or, sandwich or something, and I want to be there. I want to see it. So that's kind of the goal. Okay. I wonder what else. Let me step back again. Just take a look. Perspective-wise. Okay, I feel actually pretty good with the perspective as we've laid out these buildings. I think what I want to do at this point is not, my brain is kind of on the fritz, not on the fritz, but like, it's just not, like digging into some of the more visible issues, I think is not going to be beneficial. I promise next week, I really was hoping this would be a faster process than it is, but I promise next week we will not, irrespective of whether I get this done, we will not be working on this again next week. We will work on something else. I can understand how it may get a little repetitive and boring for you all to watch me deal with the same. I want to do some of the again, architectural things that will details that will just little things that will make this look a little more three-dimensional. Now let me go in here. I want to give a little bit of Thanks, Bob. Yeah, it does take a little patience, but when you start to see it come alive, like these little lights start to really pop out and all of it starts to work, that it's so encouraging that it kind of keeps you going. So that definitely helps. Definitely helps. I want to try to see if I can. Oh, I know what I'm missing. Yellow, yellow. Okay, it's about time to wrap this up, but I think it's much better than where it was. I'm feeling much more confident with this painting. I am pleased with where it has gone, where it's going. This is making me much more happy. It's just crazy how much time and effort it takes. So I'm gonna wrap up for now. And again, I will not bring this one back to the live stream. This will, once I get it done, I will post it on Instagram so you can see the finished product. But I'm much more happy with where it's going. Again, the major things left are adding in probably a little bit more reflection, kind of fixing this boat a little bit. It's just off a little bit as far as it's where it sits in the water. It feels weird to me. And I think there's just a few adjustments that need to be done there. Otherwise, it's getting pretty close to done. So I am pleased with that. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I think that is it. So let me turn this off and see a little bit more. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see how it is coming together. So that's kind of what the painting, I mean, there's a little glare from this side, but that's kind of what the painting is looking like right now. So it's reading pretty well. At least from my perspective, I really like how it's reading. Everything's feeling in balance. The perspective seems on. So I think this will turn into a really nice painting. And I've learned, as I always do, I learned so much. Sorry, I think I bumped the mic. I learned so much as I do this. So that is, I appreciate you all coming along for the ride. All right, let me say good night to you all. I'll turn you back to this, that camera, and flip this around. I'm going to leave this guy plugged in since he's so probably still really light on. Oh, good grief, everything's fallen. Not everything. I need a better tripod. Oh. But let's see. There we go. That works. I have cords all over here. So I think that works to say good night. A lot of hard work. Yes, absolutely. It is worth it. That's one of the things I love about painting is the result when it's done. All right, so this is what it's looking like right now. You can see even at a distance, you're used to seeing it right up with the glare on it. There is a little glare, but if I turn it away from the glare, you can see how it really is starting to work, and the feeling of the lights back there are really drawing your eye into the painting. The reflections here are pointing right back where we want the eye to go. And then between the steeple and this, by lowering this, we create, again, kind of a little visual vortex back there where your eye just wants to stay in the painting, which helps. All of these things help make a successful painting. So it's the composition, it's the perspective, it is the value, lights and darks, it is, of course, the color. And that's what's fascinating to me, because you could study 10 lifetimes and still learn new things. So that is the deal. I hope you have enjoyed this time with me. Thank you so much again for joining me in the studio. We will be back next Monday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, for the 120th episode of the Paint Party live stream. So I will look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, I hope you have a great week, and wherever you are, stay warm. We're going to stay warm, and if I get a blizzard, I'm going to stay in. But I hope you enjoy fall and that it is a great time of year for you. But we'll see you next time. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good one. Good night.